Hello guys, welcome to Thermomix Adventures. Lisa here. Hey, we are getting organized to go camping. So I thought I'd pop online, share a bit about what we do as a family to prepare our food and show you one of the things I'm making as well. So today I'm going to show you a pumpkin loaf, but there's a lot of other things that I do in preparation that doesn't particularly take me any extra time so that when I go away, I can have a break. So say hi if you're watching on today so that Facebook and YouTube know you're watching, and let's get into this recipe. So I'm going to go straight into, I've got my black sparkling limited edition TM6 at the moment. I'm going to go into my week. I love being able to plan ahead and then do the shopping lists, and we're lucky enough to have a Woolworths down the road. So most often I can use the app that it connects through to and actually do my shopping list that way. Sometimes I still go through and pick up the groceries and tick it off on my phone as we go. You can see today there's a few things to be made. Okay, so you can see there's some dips that we're taking away. We love the beetroot parmesan dip. I think I showed you that there only just a couple of weeks ago. The herb and garlic will certainly feature as well. One of my sons is currently making crackers outside. There's the pumpkin loaf. There's a spiced mini loaf. I might make if we've got time. We've got an abundance of pumpkin still, so we're slowly cooking through the pumpkin. So I'm not sure if I'm going to do that one or not. That may be more, or I might make a double batch and I might put some outside for going away, and then I'll have some for afternoon tea or whatever as well. And that's actually the key to my planning for camping. I try not to make single batches of things in the lead up, is I actually make double batches. So last night for dinner, we had chicken tikka masala. And so what did we do? We made a double batch. And so one portion of it was for dinner, and the second portion is actually in the freezer, ready to go away with us. Yesterday for lunch, it was Sunday lunch. The kids get to choose that often. We had nachos, which has the savory mince recipe, and that makes like 2 liters of amazing hidden veggie savory sauce. It's a recipe I've put on Recipe Community. And again, like 1 liter of that got used for lunch, and 1 liter's been frozen, or a kilogram. It's got 1 kilo of mince in it. A kilogram got frozen to be probably nachos, or it might be a pasta dish when we're away. Okay, I haven't quite figured that out, but the mince portion with the hidden veggies has been frozen. So that's how I tend to do it. That would be my biggest advice. If you want to go away somewhere, whether it's camping or resorting or whatever, it doesn't matter, but you don't want your food bill to go through the roof. I mean, we will still buy the odd thing while we're away, definitely. But I love to know that my meals are covered so that it doesn't cost me a fortune to feed a family of 6 while we're away. But I also, on that note, want to put my feet up myself. Okay, Thermi will come with me. I can guarantee it will make drinks. It will make ice cream. I can guarantee it, okay? But as for my meals, I like to be able to take the easiest path possible, okay? So on that note, as I scroll down, you can also see the beautiful bliss balls that my son is actually, the other son is whipping up on the other Thermomix out on the bench. So that, and again, that's actually going to be a batch for, they're going to have some now, and they're going to have some put in the freezer for later. By the way, we don't use hazelnuts and that, we just use almonds, keep it cheap. And then I like the idea of making the twice cooked fruit toast because I love that. That's, you know, my thing if I'm going somewhere or I'm celebrating or whatever, and we're out of it in the freezer. Usually I have a big batch of that ready to go for its second cook in the freezer. I'm out, so I'm really hoping in the next few days to get a batch of that on. But I told you I was going to make the loaf today, so let's go back up. But yes, the trick is in your days leading up, make double batches, 1 for now and 1 for when you're away, and then you don't have to do as much later, okay? So I'm making a double batch of this pumpkin loaf. Let's go. I'm putting it into, I'm going to do some mini loaves because I don't have 2 of these, but this is from the mix shop, okay? This is, and I believe there might have even been a sale on at the moment. This is from the mix shop. It's a silicone loaf tin. I love it because it's actually got a rigid top. I've got the whole set of these, okay? So they've got mini muffins, big muffin trays, and I love, actually I've even got some just baking trays. I love that it's got the rigid top so it doesn't, you know, some of them go soggy when you're in the oven and you go to pick it up and it malforms because it hasn't got rigidity to it. This has a rigid bit to it. So silicone all the way for that. All right, and I love that I don't have to grease it. Now this is a topping, okay? Now I've made this enough times that I've accidentally milled these down on plenty of occasions. I'm not going to mill it down, okay? These are walnuts, sorry, to go on top or through. I'm going to leave them out. As I said, quickest time possible. Normally you would mill these down. I'm not, okay? It's a rough chop, and actually I always, you know, leave them out when I can remember to. Transfer to a bowl and set aside. Okay, Now we're milling down almonds. Now, for the sake of noise and time, I'm not going to do that today. I'm actually going to use my, I picked up the wrong container. My breakfast mix. Okay, it's in the same container as this. I'm going to have to call out to a son and ask him to bring it in. In the mornings, we make these zucchini and sweet potato little fritters. They're made of eggs, sweet potato predominantly, a little bit of zucchini, and then a nut seed mix that we just mill down. We store it in bulk, and then we make our batches. It's in the same container as this. This is brown rice. That's not what I meant to get. Hold on 1 second. Remember, if while I'm jumping to the door to ask a son to bring it to me, remember to like, subscribe, and share. I won't be a second. Are you still in the kitchen? Could you please get me the nut mix we use for breakfast? I brought in the rice accidentally. All right, someone's going to get me that. So I'll grab that. But what I was going to say is I've pre-milled this down. It is actually not just almonds. Sunflower, pepitas, cashews, almonds, walnuts, all milled down into, this is the container I'm after, into a beautiful flour. Okay, it's really quite fine. So I'm actually going to cheat and use that in here. Now I'm making double batch, so 160 grams. However, I wonder if I transfer this aside in a minute. So it mills it down 15 seconds and then we add the pumpkins. I'm all good to put this in. It's just the walnuts. I'm doubting myself now that I bought the wrong container in. Okay, making double batch, 120 grams. On that note of brekkies, we pre-make our brekkies too. So on the lead up, in the mornings as the kids are making their batches, we actually make double batches and we freeze them as well. So that in the mornings we don't have to do any cooking because we eat whole foods around here as much as possible. You know, if you open my pantry right now, there's no bickies, okay? There's no, the kids have made bickies. They made the, what are they called? Oatmeal cookies. They're in the freezer. They've made muffins, little banana muffins. They're in the freezer already. Again, yesterday, they were snacks yesterday. So they made double batches or knowing that a batch will make a large amount, it may have been a single batch that they knew that they could do. So yeah, my kids joke that there's no food at our house, just ingredients. And that is very true. So 120 grams of that. Normally you'd mill it down. We skip that. Now we're adding pumpkin. 300 grams of pumpkin, okay? So it's just roughly chopped, mostly skin off, but not particularly exact on that. It's a bit over, that's okay. 1 banana peeled. Does anyone else freeze their leftover bananas? I do. And you'll see they go a bit brown. Probably would be better if I defrosted it today, but you know, just as I do, fly by the seat of my pants. These are 2 little bananas. That's okay. In they go. Very icy. Slowly cleaning up my freezer. Okay, next. Now we're going to mill this down. Okay, I did have a wet bowl, which is also why I grabbed for the milled down seeds already. So, and by the way, if you need to be nut-free, seeds is a great option. Pepitas, sunflowers, and sesame. I didn't have sesame in my mix today. 6 seconds on speed 6. Now, just one thing. We have double quantity. Now, double quantity normally means we need an extra half the time again. So whether that's cooking or blending, you need an extra half time. So we need to take this up to 9 seconds to know that it will be done in the time frame. So let's see this go and do it. Hear how it's stuck to the sides? Now, a couple of things. We did extend the time. It could be done. But also I had frozen bananas, not fresh bananas. Oh no, look at that. It looks amazing. Nearly looks like ice cream in there. I don't know if it's going to say scrape the sides down, but I certainly want to. Because it was starting to stick to the sides, I feel scraping the sides down is a very good move. Okay, next up we need to put into it 2 eggs. So up the back here I've got my eggs. Originally I was only doing a single batch and then I cut up more pumpkin. So and I was like, excellent. Did you see that trick? Some of you who are new, you might find this of value. Tapping on the front there to crack your eggs gives you a perfect triangular hole. So no shell, well, hopefully no shell. Murphy's Law, as I say that and it goes in there. In there. Can you hear the one outside doing the food outside at the moment? In this goes. So 4 eggs. In they go. Beautiful fresh eggs there from our chickies. All the girls out the back. All right, next up we've got some milk. Now I am using coconut cream. If I need to top it up with a little bit more, I will. and it's got a few chunks in it. What's that? Not enough? That's okay. Just going to scrape first of all the beautiful cream off the side. Ugh, don't want to let any of it go to waste. And then, as I said, because it's a cream product, I can actually water this down. So those of you who maybe haven't heard this before, maybe you're new, it's well worth buying coconut cream and making your own milk from it. And if you want to be really budget friendly and frugal and know what's in your food, use desiccated or shredded coconut to make your own. Okay, so you can actually make your own. If you want that recipe, let me know in the comments and I'll get that to you later. But yeah, it's well worth making your own. Okay, that's that. So I can now put a little bit of water in. Up the back here, excuse my back. What am I up to? We got 120 in there. You'll notice I could have scaled this using Cookie Dough 3.0. I just am used to not, just doing it in my head. The thing you do have to be mindful of is your volume of food in there. Some things don't fit. Okay, so last night when we did do the double batch of tikka masala, we get to the marinating point and we do all the double batching till then. And then when it gets to that next step, we do it in two parts. We cook off one, put it aside, put the next lot in. Okay, so there are some things that you will, oh, there's a little ant in there. Out you go. There are some things that you have to just be mindful of your quantities. Just always stick under your max line. Now, because this has banana in it and it's got beautiful sweet pumpkin, I'm actually going to not double this. I'm going to just give it 100 grams of sugar, okay? You guys know we try not to add sugar to our food at our house. We try and be gluten-free and dairy-free. There you go, that's how. Okay, olive oil. If it was a bit warmer, I actually probably would have put coconut oil into this. Just because olive oil can be quite dominating of a flavour. Mind you, it's in this recipe. They've obviously recipe tested it. It's rated quite well. So it's not going to be an issue, but at the moment my coconut oil is solid. So yeah, now you might be freaking out at this stage about the quantity of oil in here. There's been always that message over the years that oil is bad. This is the equivalent of your butter, and if you think about cakes, it's not unheard of to have a whole thing of butter that you creamed with your sugar. So don't freak out when you have recipes that have a fair portion of oil, because they're actually the melted butter equivalent, okay? Next up, we've got, insert the measuring cup. Let's blitz this around. Now, as I said, you're gonna need a bit longer. Here's another ant. Where are they coming from? Off you go. All right, so we're gonna put an extra 5 seconds on because we're doing that extra portion. Remember, we add that extra time. It's reverse speed 3. Last ingredient will be my cinnamon. Have a look at this through the lid. It's going slow enough, you guys can see. It's starting to mix. It's not mixing great. I reckon I'm going to need to extend my time, but I haven't put the flour in yet either. We've got the flour and something else. Cinnamon to go in. Okay, so now it's got wholemeal flour. Now I don't have wholemeal flour. We generally use gluten-free. So all I'm going to do here is I'm going to substitute, oh yeah, I did bring it in, let's have a moment, 80 grams of wholemeal self-raising and 100 grams of self-raising flour for my gluten-free self-raising flour. So, and you guys know, I normally don't have this on hand. They substituted something in an order the other week and gave it to me. So normally I have plain flour and I turn it into self-raising flour with baking powder, okay? We use 1 teaspoon per 100 grams. So I don't need to, they gave it to me, thanks. So 180 grams, but I need to do it twice. So 360, is that right? Yeah. It's been a big morning already. Maybe I should be using the scaling feature. Now you can see we are getting quite high in here. We may find that we need to mix it with a spatula towards the end. We'll see how we go. Oh, there we go, 360, and here's my cinnamon to finish it up. 1 teaspoon of cinnamon. Okay, let's do this. All right, walnuts if you want them in there, they're not. Next up, I am going to put the lid on for a second. I'll take it off to show you guys in a second. I just don't want the flour to puff out the top. Now I'm going to need to extend the time, but I'll just leave it for the moment and show you what's going on. Grab my spatula, give it a jiggle in there. Help it do its thing. It's got a lot of food in there. Alright, it's getting better. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm want to check the end of this recipe. I feel like, yeah, that's it. So let's have a look. I'm going to scrape down the sides and we're going to do it again. Okay, we're going to repeat that step in its entirety. We're under the max line, but we have a full bowl of beautiful loaf mix. So scrape it down, scrape it off. And I'm going to turn it up a little faster this time, okay? I'm going to give it, because I have walnuts in there. Oh, I showered my screen. That's okay. I'm going to actually pull it up to probably speed 6. Slow speed is probably more important if you've got those walnuts in there. You don't want to cut them up even smaller. You want texture in there. Considering I don't need to. Look at that. Done. So now it's as simple as putting it into your prepared loaf tin and baking for 60 to 70 minutes until the skewer is inserted. Now, because I'm doing some in mini loaves, they're going to take about half an hour. Again, this little skewer inserted will tell me whether they're ready or not. And then I've got this beautiful loaf here, and this one will get, once fully cooled, I will wrap it up in some sort of cling film or put it in a Glad bag, and then take it or put it in the freezer and take it away. So that is how easy it is to prepare this loaf. I'd love to know in the comments, have you made the beautiful pumpkin loaf or not? If you've not tried it, it's time to try it. Another one I can highly recommend is the apple pumpkin sponge. I think it's called pumpkin apple sponge. We've made that a few times with our abundance of pumpkin lately, and it is so light and fluffy, which hence the reason it's got sponge. But I was curious, you know, normally your apples and your those sorts of things, they don't produce, so you wouldn't expect a fluffy outcome. So I'm going to put half of this in here. Then the rest will go on those little muffin things. And actually not little loaves. However, if you wanted to do them in muffins, you certainly could do them in muffins too. Just adjust your time accordingly. A little tip with self-raising products, or even plain flour that you've increased up to size, don't go past 3/4. You're going to find it rises that last quarter. So if you fill it up beyond that, it's going to balloon out the top and make a mess in your oven. Okay, coming from the lady who's done those mistakes before when I've tried to squeeze things in. But otherwise, guys, thanks for joining in with me today. Please do share these videos with anyone you know who has a Thermomix and needs to get more out of their Thermomix, or could get more out of their Thermomix. I hope you're enjoying them. I hope you're learning more about your Thermomix on this journey. If you haven't yet already, jump over to Thermomix Adventures, my website, and subscribe over there. Be kept up to date with latest news, and also the monthly downloads. It's been a little while since I've done one. I do apologize. We have been sick after sick after sick. I think we're on the end of it. Fingers crossed. So I actually am a little behind on the monthly downloads for you guys, but keep an eye out because I'm hoping one day soon I can catch up and get those out to you. But if I can help in any way regarding your Thermomix, you've got recipe questions, you've got anything you need help with, I'm here to support you. Of course, if you are in Australia, I am a consultant, so I would love to help you get your hands on a Thermomix. But yeah, otherwise, enjoy. I hope you'll give this a go. When you're over on YouTube, you guys will see the final product. It is the thumbnail at the beginning and usually the image at the end if I get a chance as well to edit it in. Those of you on Facebook, hopefully I get a chance to put it up before it goes in the freezer. But take care, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video soon. So bye for now.